there it is. Okay, now we're good. You gotta do it again. It wasn't broadcasting before.
Oh, baby, yeah.
So I had no idea we were cutting in on Sarah's recording session here.
His R&B album that he's dropping.
Dropping
Yeah.
them fat beats.
Hold on, I'm gonna ask Siri if she wants to be on this video with us. Siri, would you like to podcast with us?
I'm sorry, but Genius is not available.
Oh,
Jeez,
I guess
sorry.
it takes a rocket scientist.
Siri, would you like to podcast with us?
Sorry, Genius is not available.
Dude, she ain't got no time for you, man. She's
Yeah.
busy. You know she's doing that at 1 o'clock at night.
Shot down.
Yeah. Apple, man, they don't want to be a part
Siri.
of Google.
I'd like you to be on a podcast with us.
I'm sorry, but Genius is not available.
Yeah, she's just fucking.
Yeah, no kidding,
She fucking
Genius
knows that
isn't
you're on a
available.
You're on a Google product right now. Of course she's not gonna be on it.
She fucking knows.
It's like
Siri,
Google. No.
I thought you and I were friends.
I don't get it. But I'll accept that for Siri, I thought you and I were friends, if you like.
That won't be necessary, Siri.
I can't wait till the Cortana
Search
one
turn
comes
this
out.
up.
That's gonna be
Oh,
outstanding.
she found me self-help. You know what? Wow, Siri's just worthless.
She's trying to make sure that you're taken care of. She's trying to get you some self-help.
Yeah, she's
Make sure you don't do anything drastic to yourself. She cares about you.
kind of a bitch, just saying.
You pulled none of the stops there.
No,
Just
no.
went big and didn't go home.
Straight up.
Sarah will not be
Straight
buying an iPhone or iProduct anytime
I'm
soon.
not.
It doesn't seem like
I've
that-
got an iPhone and it's fucking garbage. I don't want it anymore. It's just I'm sick of it. I'm sick of how slow it is.
Yeah.
I'm sick of how it eats my SIM cards. iOS 7 is a pile of shit like you don't even know.
That's the truth. iOS 7 is horrible. Like you can't do anything even if you want to. You're like, well, I was gonna unauthorize this and then put something else on it. Nope, fuck you. Cloud says no. Cloud says no. You have to. You must stay.
Okay.
Do you want to download this, or do you want to download and update this? I want to update this, but you've got to download it. All right, well, I'll download it, but you can't download it without updating.
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna download and update a fucking Note and pitch this iPhone to the curb.
Yeah, notes do look
That's
pretty
it.
baller. I've heard the HTC One actually is pretty nice too, but I just can't imagine
I don't know.
anything HTC.
Well, that's just it, right?
I
Like
can't trust it.
HTC anything, I associate HTC immediately with terrible battery life. So
Yeah, probably. What are we talking about? What are we doing?
Siri.
This is the inaugural episode of Press Pod's video, so it's only
Phone
natural
cast.
that we fucking completely spin off topic. I kind of wanted to throw in the sidebar of Palm Trio, man. Can we bring those back?
Of what? What is
No,
that?
dude, and I think that's like the only smartphone out there that can play OG Snake and Jump Boy. Remember Jump Boy?
Oh, I know what you're talking about
I've
now.
never heard of
No, wait,
OG
Jump Boy was on Samsung.
OG Snake, yes, but the N-Gage had the best snake. Just saying.
Yeah, it totally.
My Nokia 6600 had the best snake. That goddamn phone, I love that thing.
I'll tell you what's got the best snake.
Hey, stop it. Okay, yeah, wait, way to go. So now this video has been rendered useful by like everyone, for everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of Press Pod's video. We're gonna talk about Metroidvania. We're gonna dabble into that a little bit, that little subgenre. Fake what? I think I think you could find the term in Wikipedia. If it's in Wikipedia, it's fish, right? It's like
It's
Facebook
real.
a fish.
It's real, yeah. It's actually a legit thing. Like Wikipedia Webster's, pretty much. You know, with the Wikipedia, then you're good to go.
Wait, so hold on, but if it has its own Angel Fire site, where
Shit.
Fucking
Where-
Angel.
where does that rank?
Is there the fanfic on GeoCities? Then yeah, you know it's something good.
Hilarious.
If it, I mean, or Facebook group. I'm sure it's got its own Facebook group. Or
it probably has its own Twitter handle. So you
yeah,
can have
there we go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll get into all that. We'll get into all that.
Sure, but first.
It does, in fact, have its own Wikipedia page.
Ah, shit.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Back chicken like a champ.
So, you guys, and speaking of which, we're talking about Metroidvania. We're not talking about, like, Castle
Oh wait, no,
Lords.
I am actually lying. It's actually just a subsection under platforming game.
Oh, see? And here we go. And that kind of... Isn't that just the gist of it all? It kind of just correlates, like, what Metroidvania kind of is. I mean, is it is it a thing? Is it something that you can honestly use to encompass the overall design of? I don't know.
I almost feel like it's not so much like when you say Metroidvania, you think it is a platformer, but now it almost seems like when you say Metroidvania, you're basically just saying it's a game where you have to access areas later on after you get a certain ability or power. Like when someone says Metroidvania to me, that's what I take. I think it's almost open to interpretation of what when someone says Metroidvania to you, how you interpret it. Like for me, it's like Tomb Raider has Metroidvania aspects because you
Well,
have to
wait,
get to
but how
areas
so?
later on.
Well, yeah, the newest Tomb Raider.
Yeah, the most current one. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but like, see, and that's weird though because,
It's
see,
really not, but
when
that,
I
I
think,
that's the way I associate it.
yeah, but see, when I think of that, I think of like gated access, but like with Metroidvania, I think of like a overall like a huge encompassing world in which you see or recognize things like entrances, exits, or otherwise like contextual interactions within the world, and trying to engage or interact with it without the corresponding ability that fucking belongs or associates with said exit or entrance. Yeah, but like I look at that as a
Well,
broad like spectrum is where it's a whole world.
I think the main defining factor of it all is so long as it's being automapped, it falls within the category.
What do you mean
If
by
you fill in
automatic?
like an arbitrary section of map, you're saying?
Yeah, as you travel, like,
Okay,
okay,
so
well,
it,
I'm
it
in this
doesn't.
room, there's a room, and you can tell where you've been and where you haven't gone. So,
I
Metroid 3 slash Castlevania Symphony of the Night, hence Metroidvania.
Well, let's look at like Metroid, the original Metroid. I
Right.
mean, the original Metroid, see, it didn't really like utilize any of the facilities that people associate with the quote unquote conventional checklist that fucking one would apply to the prototypical Metroidvania game. I mean, it was a
Better than
giant
the
world.
original Castlevania, though.
Well, no, I know, but the Vania part really just comes from like Symphony of the Night just fucking going nuts and just like, well, okay, let's do this thing with Alucard. Let's make this sequel to a game that never even came out to North America to begin with, but we're just going to go ahead and toss this up in here and we're going to apply Metroid aspects and then completely evolve upon it because now characters can not only level up their abilities, but they can actually level up their stats. And it kind of made the whole thing even more cryptic to begin with. I mean, I guess the sense of cryptic discovery it has been kind of blown up with Metroid. And like Metroidvania is kind of like a thing that exists within indie games now. Like it's its own fucking thing. It's weird.
Yeah, Rogue Galaxy, or not Rogue Galaxy. Wait,
Rogue
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 Legacy. Although a Rogue Galaxy would be amazing. Do like a
Rogue
Metroidvania.
Galaxy is actually a PS2 game.
That
It
is. You're right.
So,
Yeah.
Level 5 RPG.
Yeah.
Okay, I
It
got
has
that.
nothing to do with Metroidvania.
It
but
does
go
not.
on.
I got it mixed up with Rogue Legacy, which is like an indie game that's all about fucking Metroidvania. What about like Shadow Complex? To me, that was like for me, that was a game that kind of I think either reintroduced or maybe introduced to a new generation that style of game. Me personally, I feel like that's what kind of brought it back to the forefront because it was different enough that people got interested in it, but it was just really cool finding that sense of like I know I can jump up there and get up there and get that, but I can't do it yet. So why not? Why can't I get there? That's what I've always liked about those type of games is the idea that you know you can and you'll try and you'll sit there for a fucking hour trying to jump, double jump, do something to like make it work. And you know it's possible, you just don't know how. And so you play and you keep on going just to figure out what you have to do next. And I don't know, I kind of like that. I like that they do it, but they don't fucking punish you like in goddamn Dark Souls or games like that where that sense of like you have to go figure this out, but fuck you. Like that was like that
I
whole sense. Like at least it's never been too difficult.
I love though that like Metroidvania is defined by experimentation with contextual entrances and exits, and not by like this overall encompassing world. And you know what's funny is because if you were really to if you were to throw that in, then you would technically make Grand Theft Auto. Any of the new Grand Theft Autos would be Metroidvanias, but they're not.
No, no.
But it's
but are they?
Grand Theft Vania.
you know but okay, cause see, you're not really like. It's weird because by like the loosest margin, they're not. I mean, essentially what you're doing is you're opening up avenues or otherwise like entrances or expanding the world, the overarching world, but you're doing it all through narrative progression. I don't think there's at one point where if I walked into an internet cafe in Grand Theft Auto 4 and I logged into a website that a bridge suddenly came down and allowed me to go to like the other half of Liberty City. Like that's a Metroidvania-ass thing that doesn't happen.
Well, the thing that kind of worries me is that when people start saying Metroidvania game, or are using that term Metroidvania, they're going to apply it to almost any game, because almost any game has, even the slightest bit, that kind of mechanic or that kind of gameplay. You know, it's like when you say almost every game you play is an RPG in some sense, because you get a stat or you increase a stat or something like that happens. Oh, it's an RPG then. Like it's very loosely defined, and I don't know. Maybe it should be just Metroidvania games should only be platformers, like just legit only platforms. Like it should either be like Metroid or like Castlevania, and that's it.
Well, see, and like I don't know. Like I said, there are these defining tropes like giant world, check. Individualized sections of giant world that's navigatable just by like distinguishable landmarks or aesthetics or atmosphere, check. Skill sets that allow you to move around or otherwise connect or create intersections between sections of overall giant world, check. Warp points, fucking you got to get them warp points. I mean,
flowy capes.
Yeah.
Flowy capes should be a part of that. That should be like every of those games should have one.
Prerequisite, yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I think that'd be good.
But like, it's weird because isn't everything that I just named in almost every 2D game now?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, like that's the scary thing. Like, I just feel like it's such a loosely used term that it kind of lost its meaning.
It's almost like it's that ironically semantical distinguishing, distinctive title that it's nothing now. I guess.
What fucking is now? It's a buzzword. Like, the thing about can you? I bet you could probably name 2 or 3, demos you went to at PAX. If you went to the Indie Mega booth, I bet you anything.
La Mulana 2,
Metroid
Chasm.
Yeah, and I bet you went to at least 2 or 3, and that was one of their buzzwords when you were talking about their game demo. Yeah, this is Metroidvania. Like, that's all it fucking is now. It's just a PR term now. Sadly.
Probably right, yeah. I can get behind that.
But just, they've done different things with Metroidvania though. Like they've done like almost a roguelike with Metroidvania. Like, do you think could there be a top-down Metroidvania?
They've done a roguelike with a shmup too, but
I mean, there's that.
Which one have they done that's similar to that?
I'm trying to think. What was the Metroidvania game that was a roguelike?
Then you just confuse the fuck out of me, because like I know what a roguelike is, I know what a Metroidvania game is. You try to do both, I'm like, well, fucking which one is it? Like it gets to a point where like you can't.
Oh yeah, Chasm. Chasm's essentially a roguelike and a Metroidvania. Yeah.
You can't take these terms and these like genre of games and mix them together, because then it just starts confusing people. I don't know, just.
Yeah, because like it's a giant world that basically when you die you start from the beginning or you start from your checkpoint. It's basically like I don't know, because now people are calling Dark Souls like a roguelike, and I think it's more than a roguelike. It's a glorified roguelike, I guess, if you really want to.
I wouldn't call it a roguelike. Nah. There are very specific elements that prevent it from being a roguelike.
Well, because like, isn't a roguelike by the definition just like once you're dead, like, oh, your shit's gone, just fucking start over?
All your
What is
shit,
that?
yeah,
And
100%.
And it's
No
stupid
chance of getting
hard.
it back.
Yeah.
It's shit hard.
Mm.
Fucking dumb hard.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's.
I guess
I
like
can't
you know what,
classify it as a roguelike. I can't do it. It's not possible.
you know what's funny though is like I guess another definition that like a listener brought up to me is just like if you can sequence break it, it's a Metroidvania game. And what's funny is that like SteamWorld Dig, I'm reviewing it right now. I really wouldn't call that a Metroidvania game traditionally, but it kind of is because it's a giant world that I can get around if I grind or do different things, but there are rooms that give me a double jump and a running jump and stuff like that. So I guess it is a Metroidvania. But it's funny, it's only got I mean, it has a clear goal. You go from point A to point D. You just have to stop at, B and C, and okay, so it's got an E because there's a D in there, I guess. I don't know, but it's like, can you make a linear ass Metroidvania? Well, Dust and Elysian Tale, that's technically a Metroidvania too, and that's linear as shit.
But how's that Metroidvania though? Just because of the I saw the game. I haven't really played it yet, but how's it?
Well, no, because you learn abilities that are able to get you to gated areas.
Oh.
And it's a giant overarching world. It's not one level. You're constantly traveling around in one world. See, that's the thing to me is that. And you know what's funny too is like I think the predominant rule is that Metroidvania games have to be 2D. Cuz like they did a 3D Metroidvania game. It was a fucking Castlevania Lament of Innocence. It's fucking awful.
Yeah, that's yes too, right?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Lament of Innocence.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember that one. Yeah, you're right.
Well, yeah, because like, because they did the hallways like that were in Symphony of the Night and any other Metroidvania, Castlevania game, and like the hallways are so empty and lifeless. You can't really translate that very well in a three-dimensional space where you're just like roaming these empty ass hallways and rooms. Like they were so static. I don't know. Didn't work.
Mm-hmm. I just feel like they need to just either like make the term just really cut and dry with not a whole lot of like places to kind of branch off and do different things, or just create a new term. It shouldn't be just Metroidvania anymore. It should be platforming with something. I don't know what you would really define that as. Like,
Oh, I'm so glad you're not in marketing.
Action
oh
adventure.
my god, it'd be like you jump over here and you grab that, but then you have to go there later, and someone's gonna fire me probably.
But like, what's funny too is Jeremy Parrish of the now current U.S. Gamer. He's actually starting a Metroidvania database. So every notable or otherwise
Metroidvania base.
yeah, pretty much it's a database, and like it's weird. Some of the games like and I didn't realize this, like Hotel Transylvania, that really shitty Halloween animated movie with like Adam Sandler.
Yes, why not? I fucking forgot there was a game for that.
Yeah, and it was developed by Way Forward, and that's a Metroidvania game.
Oh fuck! What the hell? Why'd they do that game?
Man. Well, it's like
pay their bills that month.
they had that one game. What was it? Wendy Every Which Way,
Yeah,
based
there's
on
that
that,
one
yeah.
too.
which apparently was freaking great. But
Then there's, it's funny too, and like, Richard Donner, that stupid bastard, and his, his contribution to all the other things that are fucking ruining our childhoods. He's trying to basically cast a Goonies 2, and in my,
Gotcha.
yeah, I know, and in my mind, the Goonies 2 is only an NES game, and it is technically a Metroidvania game, a really shitty one, but like, well, it's good. I don't know, it's weird because like I get that game's kind of aged well, and it's kind of not at all, because like I definitely will say it's the most cryptic Metroidvania because it takes like the spiderweb graphs. Oh my god, is Fez a Metroidvania game?
no.
Well, because it's a giant. Well, hold on though, because you don't learn abilities, but you have to experiment and earn items that open up other gateways and experiment by turning every angle around. Is it like the Super Metroidvania game? If you look at it that aspect?
No.
Like
Don't give Phil Fish any ideas. He'd be like, I created the Super Metroidvania game. I'm the
like
best.
I've created an
I'm the
entirely
best."
different genre.
Yeah, oh god. If Phil Fish is defining new genres, I'm just gonna stop playing video games altogether.
That's it. Done.
Yeah, nope. Just take it, throw it out the window. Fuck this. Done.
Yeah, but he already quit, so that's fine.
Nah, he'll come back.
Siri, did Phil Fish invent Super Metroidvania?
Can you ask Siri where Phil Fish is?
My web search turned this up.
Oh. None of that had to do with Phil Fish. Siri, where is Phil Fish at this very moment?
I don't see any places matching Bill Fish. Sorry about that.
No fish. No fish.
Yeah, no, Bill Fish. Apparently, I keep saying Bill when I want to say Phil.
I guess.
No, Siri, you dummy. Phil Fish. Phil Fish. Phil Fish. Where is he?
I'm waiting for her to say go fish.
I have no specific answers for that.
After all she's done for me.
For an answer to I can say.
My phone has it too, but it's some really old lady. Galaxy phones don't have a cool one.
Andrew, why do you have an old lady trapped in your phone? Let her out.
No, like fucking Google phones or Samsung Galaxy phones have like Meemaw doing it for you or something. I don't know how to use the internet.
My fingers hurt.
My grandchildren don't visit me anymore. Yeah.
Oh boy. So
Insufferable.
I guess is Metroidvania really only destined to forever live in like obscure marketing terms for indie games?
Well, I mean, whatever they can do to sell indie games, I guess. Like, power to them. Like those fuckers need to get their games funded some way. I mean, I can't really hate them for using terms that people. That's the thing. I think it's our fault. Because how many people will buy a game if it's like Metroidvania? Oh yeah, I like
that's
those
an
games.
instant
I'll go
sell
buy
for
'em.
me. That's an instant sell for me.
Yeah, but it's like, man,
It's
I don't
the
know.
it thing.
It's just a shame. I just wish it wasn't just a PR term or a way to sell a game.
A catchphrase.
If somebody was doing something different with it and changing it up, like I almost feel like it's gonna go the way it did the first time, where it won't be a thing, and then it'll take another game to come out and use it in a different way, and then kind of reintroduce that style of gameplay. Like for me, like what Shadow Complex did. Like it needs to have a game like that. And honestly, I think Rogue Legacy.
Yeah, not Rogue Galaxy.
Rogue Galaxy is a PS2 RPG, but Rogue Legacy, I think to me, kind of reintroduced it to the indie scene and like the PC market. Because not a lot of PC gamers had a game like that. I don't think it was always consoles or like arcade downloads and stuff like that. So maybe we'll get a Metroidvania game on. Is there a mobile Metroidvania game that's actually good?
There's some indie ones, but
Yeah.
nothing that like I can honestly think is like that comes right off.
Like life changing.
And-
Like yeah. Well.
There's a lot of them that we didn't get. Oh well, I mean, funny enough, and like I think the hardest Metroidvania game that's out there is you've got to win the game. That one's hard, and like, oh man, I don't know if it's out on mobile. I'll have to check, but that one's pretty good too. We still got. I would like to just check out that game entirely, like on its own. What if Pac-Man had a Metroidvania game? It was just mazes. It would just move from one maze to the next.
But you had to have specific things in order to get to the next maze, or
I guess you'd have
You have
to
to eat a certain amount of ghosts, yeah.
or fruit or something.
don't you already do that though? Don't you already have to get a certain amount
Everything.
of things before you
I think if anything that we've learned
every
from
game's
this,
a Metroidvania game.
yeah, exactly. And
Oh,
what
we,
we've learned from this fucking video, everything's a Metroidvania.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Schmuproidvania.
That's a possibility. I don't see
Gotta
why it
happen.
couldn't happen.
Darius is kind of like a Schmuproidvania when you think of it. It's like
no. Damn
There's
it.
like 50,000 different stages you can go to. Choose your own
Yeah,
adventure.
but you don't go back.
You could if
Like
you want.
Metroidvania, you can't go like you go one way, dog.
Yeah.
Sigma Star Saga. There you well, not really, but still.
I think the world exists in two colors now: Metroidvania
And
or
everything
Metroidvania with a portal gun.
else.
Like that's it. Like I think that's the only thing that really that's it. That's the factor.
Portalvania.
I'd play
Oh
that.
God,
I
that'd
would
be
fucking
awful.
play
Well, you can't do that. That would be like that would just be Sequence Breaker, the game. No.
that.
Anyway, this
Well,
has been
I'll figure
Presspawn's
out-
video.
I'll figure out what sequence breaker means one of these days. You keep on saying that. I still don't know. what the fuck
Breaker
it
of
means.
sequences.
It's a sweet like hacker alias. Like when
Like-
you're in the
like-
sequel with Angelina Jolie.
Like when you're hacking the Gibson.
Dude, yeah, when you're like hacking the NSA in the
God damn.
Matrix.
They're gonna shut us
with-
down now.
I really
Yeah.
want to watch The Matrix and Hackers. Just I'll watch them back to back.
Can we watch the 13th Floor? I want to watch that one.
What's your thing with Matthew Lillard? Seriously, you just named like 2 or 3 Matthew Lillard films. Is this something that we should know about?
Wait a minute, hold on. Matthew Lillard's not in the Matrix?
No, I'm saying 2 or 3. He's in Hackers and he's in 13.
He is in the 13th Floor. I think is he?
No, 13th
No.
Ghost is the one I'm thinking of. Sorry.
Oh God, why? Why would you confuse the two?
What the fuck is 13th Floor? I don't know what that
It's
is
the
either.
virtual reality movie where they're in this virtual reality world, but then the big twist is that I'm gonna spoil the 13th Floor by the way. Is
no.
that they're all in a it's a virtual reality world in a virtual reality world, which oh my God, it was Inception before Inception. Is
Damn.
Inception Metroidvania?
God damn it. Siri's gonna be pissed at you tonight asking all these questions.
I know. I'll have to ask her.